Hey everybody, welcome back to Change Your Perspective, Change Your Awareness, Change Your Life. I'm Dr. Michelina, hashtag that felon doctor, here to talk about our final wound of the week or the series, which is the financial wound, which I won't say that everybody has a financial wound because I don't think that's true, actually. I think that people who have enough and who have always had enough don't really have a wound where they show up out of a space that is lack, unsafe, right? I think that financial wounds can be developed. Like if you're someone who was affluent as a kid and then something happened, a financial wound can be developed. But 9 times out of 10, a financial wound is going to come out of a scarcity, lack, missing resources type of a place. So if you had and still have abundant resources, you likely don't have a financial wound. People can, this one's an easy one to heal, actually, because it starts on the inside and it sort of unfolds on the outside. And so this one is one that there's actually hope for. In 2 ways. The first is that there's hope for healing it, and the second is there's hope for like bringing more of it into your life. Whereas the other 3, the church, the education system, and the political system, you can heal your own experiences from that, but the odds of you actually doing something that's going to really shake up that industry, not really likely. Whereas with finances, true, you don't need to shake up an industry, though maybe you will, but you can change the way you interact with that industry because like that financial gain is a kind of byproduct of healing that financial wound, and it will change the way you function in your daily life, right? So financial wound is an important one to figure out if you've got it or if you don't. Now, my assumption is if you came from a middle class or a low socioeconomic background, you've got a financial wound. My suspicion is if you've got a lot of debt, crippling amounts of anxiety around finances, you're living paycheck to paycheck, you don't know how to curb your spending, you don't have discipline around your finances, you have a financial wound, right? So most of the time, there's a lot of things that can happen with a financial wound, right? But we use money to satisfy our needs and our wants, which are 9 times out of 10 sort of emotional. Now, most people don't know their needs or their wants, so they don't even think about how their finances are impacting them and affecting them. I know for me, I had to go through and learn the hard way that I tried to provide for myself with my finances. And so when I wanted something and I was like, if I was like, I can't get this, or I shouldn't get this, or like, I don't really need this, but I want it, whether I had the money or not, I was buying it. Because I was like, I didn't like to admit to myself that I couldn't buy it or shouldn't buy it, right? It was this really complicated dynamic that had me being very undisciplined in my spending, where I was like, it feels like it's unsafe to say no in my finances, so I'm just going to say yes, even though I should be saying no. And that was an old wound, a people-pleasing mentality wound. The people I was trying to please was myself. The person I was trying to provide for was myself. So that financial wound was really a me versus me, which is really a tricky thing to like move through and heal. You really can't even imagine how tricky that was. And so what ends up happening is when you can get disciplined in your finances, it's like, okay, yeah, I could buy this now or I could buy this later. It just changes your mentality. Whereas if you're like, I don't have the money to buy this, it makes you feel like you're in lack, you know? And so there's a financial wound there. So what ends up happening with our finances is that it really comes back down to a lack of discipline. And we need to get new beliefs in place around our money. As an example, I think it was Jay-Z who said, if you can't buy it twice, don't buy it. Other people say things like, if you can't buy it in cash, don't buy it, right? Because we have a huge usury problem now. We will get a credit card and we will max it out or make the minimum payments. And like, we put ourselves into bondage financially. And these wounds, all of these wounds will keep you in slavery. They will keep you in bondage. They will keep you small, right? That's why we're talking about it, because like these are things that'll keep you small. part of the goal with the school that we've created is to help people come out of it on the other side as their own entrepreneur, their own business owner, that they can, if they want to, start their own company and get free financially. Because the only real way to get free is to work for yourself, not self-employment, by the way. Robert Kiyosaki, if you have a financial wound, you want to start doing financial research, right? Robert Kiyosaki talks about this quadrant. It's like a four space quadrant where it's like ESBI. And this is how you make money, right? You're either an employee or self-employed on the left side of the quadrant, or you're a business owner or an investor on the right side of the quadrant. These people, the B and the I, are free. Money works for them. These people, employees and self-employed, are not free. They work for money, right? And so people who have financial wounds are 9 times out of 10 employed or self-employed, right? And so what ends up happening, and people who are relying on the government is like a little bit of a different thing. If you're like somebody who's like with the VA, or you're somebody who is on disability, that's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. So most often if you're taken care of by the government, it's because you've already paid into that system. So that's a different thing. You're not working for your money. It's kind of passive, but it's not really passive because you already worked for it. You're just getting kind of taken care of retroactively. So that's kind of a loophole. But for most people, like I said, 9 times out of 10, you fall into ESBI. And so if you're not actively working to become a business owner or an investor, you're never going to be letting money work for you. You're always going to be working for money. You're always going to have a financial wound. Even when you're comfortable, even when you're okay, because you don't have freedom of time. And really, success and freedom is freedom of time and money. And you only get that really when you're a business owner. When you cannot work for a year and it's like, I still make money, right? And so the financial wound is a wound that we believe time equals money. And that's not necessarily true. In fact, for the people who make money, that's never true. I can do something once. If I do it right, I'll get paid on it 1,000 million times. Passive income, right? And so the financial wound, get educated, because that's how you get out of the financial wound. You have to change your mindset around how to make money. You have to change your heart set around the fact that you can make money. And you have to change your beliefs around why you should make money, right? And so thoughts, feelings, beliefs, they all kind of come together. And I will just say, this is why we've created a school. Because like I've already been through this whole process. So I created a school with my team so that we can help people get through it. And so the financial wound is one that is a great place to start, honestly. It's a great place to start. You're going to want to look at your background, which is to say like your parents. How did they feel about money? Was there never enough? Did money not grow on trees? If I had it, I'd say yes. Like those were things I had. And then you want to be careful too. Things like, I had to move through, I had resentment I didn't even realize I had when my father left. His leaving made our lives that much harder, right? And so I didn't realize I had that pretty big resentment until I moved through it. And I was like, oh, like my life would have been a lot different financially if I had 2 parents that worked together. But also, that's not even necessarily true, right? You have no idea. So I was like, let's just let that resentment go. Everybody makes their choices. It is what it is. But I had it and I had to move through it, be aware of it, let it go. You cannot let go of things you're not aware of exist in your system, right? So go back, look at what you think about money now. First things first, do you have a financial wound? Well, let's see. This one's clear to see. Are you in debt? Are you living paycheck to paycheck? Do you feel like you never make enough? Do you feel like you're a slave to your job? Like, can you not curb your spending? Oh, you have all those? Okay, yeah, you have a financial wound. Very easy, right? No, I'm not talking about like college debt so much as like credit card debt. And so what happens if you realize, hey, yeah, I do have a financial wound? Get educated. Start reading good books on money, okay? I would say Robert Kiyosaki's always one. I like Jen Sincero, How to Be a Badass at Making Money. I think I like her a lot. She's just very relatable, very palatable. she's been broke and she's been rich, you know, and I love people who've been both. Obviously, you know me, I love people who've been both. I've been at the bottom and the top, you know, so like, yeah, well, not the top I want to be at, but more of a top enough for now. Top enough that I almost get paid to exist. And so that's the goal. You get paid to exist. That's the goal. And so like the school, like that's the whole point of the school is like you start off mind, body, spirit, you get these growth minded mentalities. You come into this like, oh, I have things to heal. I have things to do. Then you move into business where it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to learn how to do business. I'm going to learn how to be a leader. Then once you've got all that authentic leadership, we can figure out what your company is going to be and how can you run it. That's the long-term play for Seasons in Science Academy. I was telling someone that on a podcast yesterday. But of course, that doesn't need to be the case. Not everybody wants to be a business owner. That's fine too. You can be an investor. But you have to, if you want to come free in your finances, you've got to be a B or an I. There's almost no other way to do it. So that's the financial wound in a nutshell. I'm not going to talk about how money is the root of all evil. It's not. Money is a tool like anything else. Money has an energy like anything else. Money is no different than technology, okay? It's not different. People, I'll give you that. Money's no different than sex, okay? It's not different. They're just things that people use to feel like they're in control of their lives, to leverage, to make money, to be powerful, to make a legacy. Like that's all those kind of things are, sex, money, and technology. And it just depends on who you are for how it works or doesn't work. And so I should have talked about a sexual wound. I should add a day and talk about the sex wound. I just thought about that. I don't know if I'm going to. That's probably too loaded. But yes, it's just money is just a tool. And so you don't want to idolize it. You don't want to hate it. You don't like think about your relationship with money. The book, How to Be a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero really has you examine how you feel about money, what your beliefs are about money, because we take out things on money like it's a person. And it's like, why are we doing that? Right? So if you have this financial wound and you want to heal it, it's going to take intentionality like anything else. And you'll know that you're healing it when your money stops being in the black and starts being in the red, right? Stops being at a deficit and starts being at a profit. So it's an easy one to track, which is why the financial wound is such a good one. It's an easy wound to track, which we love, because it's easy to see how it's healing. Whereas some of the other things are more intangible, you know, like mental, emotional, those are harder to track. Physical is easier to track. Sexual is hard to track. Spiritual is hard to track. Financial is easy to track. And intellect is moderately easy to track, right? Right, so I'm thinking about the ways in which we grow, right? Financial is a way we grow. Financial is a way we grow. And so, all that to say that is going to end our wound series. Even though I could talk about sex, I'm not going to. I'll probably talk about it some other time, some other way. I hope this is really fascinating to you. I hope this is really interesting to you. I think what I'm going to go into next is going to be really interesting. I think I'm going to talk about dualities, which is always a really important topic, I think. So, yeah, I appreciate you guys being here. I'm going to drop the school link below if you want to check it out. I encourage everybody to enroll in it. It is a community, and then when you get into the community, you have the option to enroll in a semester. Honestly, if you want to change your life, like start doing things to change your life. And that school is definitely a way to do it. But I'll drop the link below. I'll see you guys next time. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, tell your friends, grow the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.